douglAR Politics tonight, 7:30 p.m. Hold on, Trinidad and Tobago. Keep holding on. Keep supporting one another. Danger is around the corner. Incompetence abounds. But the stories of citizens helping citizens, caring for one another is inspiration. Inspiration in a bottle. Uncork the bottle and release the inspiration. The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, I am very proud of each and every one of you. Keep helping because our people are suffering. Those who talk in the newspapers and those who have their agendas for billion-dollar profits and million-dollar profits and rentals and contracts, I'm happy for them, good for them. They can dance left foot, right foot. But to those who are struggling, those single mothers who have not worked, those small businesses that have closed down, those SMEs, those people who are suffering in the hospitals, those families who have lost loved ones. A friend of mine lost his son and he could not even speak. I won't even play the voice note for you, but it's the most heartbreaking thing. Hold on, Trinidad and Tobago. Every rope has an end. This disgraceful government will see the exit door at some time. Hold on, Trinidad and Tobago. douglAR Politics, 7:30 p.m. tonight.
The treasury empty, so they tell we. So where they getting all this money they thieving? Place for walking, people sleeping. Put a hand.
Politics, this is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics, listen, douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics, this is douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics, this is douglAR Politics. douglAR Politics, this is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. Indira Sajawan Ali. Indira Sajawan Ali. I don't want to say your name on Friday. I gave you an explanation. You tweeted, you attacked Kamla Persad-Bissessar in a disrespectful way, realizing that you did not have all the information. I am looking forward to your apology or correction or retraction. I see you write a whole column in The Guardian. The Guardian of Rowley's K-Pax. Don't let me feel that the PNM is kind of influencing you, that when you are wrong, you cannot admit it, that you did not understand what Kamla Persad-Bissessar was talking about when the issue with the NCRHA became a medical legal one with Davlin Thomas and the Couva Hospital with the Chief of Staff, Dr. Don Martin. You didn't understand, you jumped the gun, you attacked Kamla as if you, me know how you feel, you just jump out so. But I went calm, I went nice, I give you the information, give you an opportunity to show class. I know you're a very intelligent lady, but I ain't seen nothing yet, eh? Friday, I'm not douglarize here yet. I took the vaccine, says PNM President of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, Brian Fake Afro Lewis. Brian No Stones Lewis. Brian lacking testicular fortitude Lewis. Brian screened for PNM and gets spit out, and now all our athletes suffering because his cojones up in his stomach. Brian Lewis. He says, I took vaccine. I got my first AstraZeneca vaccine on April 24th. Well, great for you, Brian Lewis, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, in a year when in just about 40 days our athletes are supposed to go and represent Trinidad and Tobago in Tokyo, and when your PNM Minister of Sport exactly 11 weeks ago said there will be no priority for our athletes. They will have to get in line like everybody else for vaccines. You said nothing. But you all jump out now and all we soca artists getting choked. They're not only getting choked in fete outside because there are no carnival down here. They're choking and whining outside because them get choked. But my athletes can't get choked. And they're going to represent this country in Tokyo, and you said nothing, Brian Lewis. This is why I told you, if you want to jump into politics, nothing wrong with that. If you want to jump into the PNM that has starved sport of money for 6 years, while Kamala was there, sport got up $140 million annually to invest in our athletes in the MPI vote. You and your PNM dropped that down to a paltry 10 million. Staff football, staff cricket, staff all the NSOs, sport in a total complete mess, asking Olympic medalists if them is elite athletes, and you said nothing because your head's so filled with Balizé juice that you have no ability to speak. Yet you hold on to position and boasting now that you get vaccine. Who the hell is you? You tried to play rugby when you was a young boy. It wasn't even good. You never make no side. You get vaccine before my Olympic athletes, and you're boasting about it. You are some kind of different idiot. You are there to take care of the athletes, to do things for them. You ain't fight for them to get job. You boasting you get job. You's really a PNM. I'm sure you must be getting, you say it's AstraZeneca, or you's not even a real PNM. The real PNM have Pfizer. You get AstraZeneca. That's why they reject you for Port of Spain South. And then this man says now, same Olympic Committee President, PNM Brian Lewis, Trinidad and Tobago's pre-Olympic camp cancelled. Now if you all remember, a few weeks ago I said to them, what are you all talking about a pre-Olympic camp? They say, yes, they're talking to some village in Japan, and they're going to do a pre-Olympic camp. And we have Olympic qualifiers in track and field, track and field, swimming, cycling, rowing, right? I think it's those sports. We may have, well, we have a refugee boxer from Venezuela who training down here, so I don't know if we're going to include he in that. And then this man say, we having a training camp, but they don't have facilities for cycling, swimming, and rowing. I say, so you're having a training camp just for track and field? Well, here he now. Training camp, pre-Olympic training camp cancelled. And then they go through a whole long explanation that it was taught in the best interest of the people in the villages in Japan who are not all vaccinated in that village, that the camp will be too dangerous. They had a meeting. The Japanese people tell we want all your Trini with all your Brazilian variant, Indian variant on the way, people dead and down the place. We want that here. So fire burn all your and all your camp. Well done. And yet our athletes were not on the priority list for vaccination. But here Mr. Brian PNM discard, but still looking to lick K-Pax Lewis. Hear what he said. He said, although the camp was abolished, he said provisions are still being put in place for the cyclists, Nicholas Paul, Kwesi Brown, and Tennille Campbell, and swimmers Dylan Carter and Sherelle Thompson. Yes, because they didn't have no camp. You forget the camp was only for track and field. Where you feel we don't read, Brian Lewis? Shame on you, boy. You're pathetic. From one ridiculous to brilliant. We have a young man, and he went Fatima. So you know, I must disclose my total bias, being an ex-Fatima boy, an ex-Fatima football player, #1 school in the whole country. Yeah, fire burn all your Naps, Press, Mukurapo, CIC, all you forget all the Signal Hill, Fatima. But anyway, my boy who played Fatima, he's looking, he got a scholarship to Bethel College in Kansas. It's worth $60,000, but the parents have to find $10,000 US. They already got $2,000 US from a barbecue and so on. So they're looking for $8,000 US. So please, or especially all Fatima old boys, put a little something there. I know all you're under pressure, all your business shut down. Well, some all you vote PNM, I don't know why, because you're all supposed to be intelligent at Fatima. Me, I understand. How you going, my brother Curtis? Rather, don't call out my boys and them, eh? But all you, put some money in the boy thing so he could go to school, please. All right, and well done, Azarias Ali. Brilliant. And yes, any other children who need help on the GoFundMe, send it by Vishnu on the WhatsApp, and Anil will obviously big up and try to help as much as possible for our children who deserve, especially when this government cutting funding to gate, cutting scholarship and turn it into bursary and want all our children to go and lick PNM Bamsi up in Balizé house. Are we not teaching our children that? We believe in meritocracy. Work hard, study hard, do well, and the government is supposed to be there to help you. But unfortunately, you all voted because I like to eat banana, right? And all you vote race. Okay. 14 out of 84 desilting works ongoing. The PNM incompetence knows no bounds, and no matter how much you try to help them and tell them, they still do nonsense. It's about 5 years now. I'm telling the only honest Indian, Rohan Sinanan, because he say he's the only honest Indian. But Clarence's wife say that Clarence is the only honest politician. But Clarence is an Indian. So, and he in the same cabinet with Rohan. So they must be fighting in cabinet now to decide who is the one honest Indian inside of the whole country. But this dum-dum Rohan, for years now I'm telling him, if you do not desilt the mouths of the rivers where they enter the sea, especially on the Gulf of Paria side, you will always get a backup and flooding. It makes no sense desilting and clearing just the waterway. When the water arrives with a certain speed to the sea, and you have 20 feet of water going into 16 inches of water, there will be a backup. Because in the front of the mouth, any fisherman would tell you, when the engine and they go in with a little pirogue and the engine is this far underneath, them could run around river mouths when they enter. Again, we are seeing, come in here, Archie. Again, for the 6th year in a row, we've seen stupidity by the only honest Indian, Rohan. You're cleaning out the waterway, great, dum-dum. All that means the water will reach by the sea faster and back up faster and flood faster. Go back. From one dum-dum to another. Helen Drayton. You all know Helen Drayton. Helen Drayton is a lady who said and swore on a Bible to be an independent senator while we were in government. While Kamala was the prime minister, she was an independent senator. As Rowley lie on Emailgate and the media and Guardian and Express with Asha Javid and Anika Gumsandipot write a set of lies on Kamala and government, and Rowley scraping, Helen Drayton jump out and jump on a PNM board as the head of CNMG. Then she moved from there. Now she's the head of a PNM board, NIB, in charge of billions now. So she's a big PNM. She's still writing. Now there's nothing more corrupt than feigning independence, especially in a two-party state, right? Because it's dishonest, it's wicked, because you're listening to me, all you know is a UNC. Anil is a UNC. I have on yellow drawers and all, right? So all you know that. So y'all will take my information. How you take it? With a pinch of salt, double check, triple check. It's for all facts anyway, but you know is a UNC, and I don't like Rowley and the PNM at all. That's called disclosure. And then I give you the information. These people who are PNM have balize all in the garments. Then come to swear on a Bible to be independent and go in the Senate. When I read 23, I tell all this story, 23 of her contributions while Kamala Prasad Bisesa was Prime Minister. All 23 scathing, emotional, disgusting, most of them dribble and nonsense, attacking Kamala Prasad Bisesa. I thought independence, you should get a little balance. Your name should be balancing, you know? You get a little 60-40, a little 55-45, a little, if you get 50-50, well, you're real good. Not 100% against Kamala. Then she come out and jump on boards. But what is amazing, this woman is still right, pretending like she is some bastion of integrity. Woman, you swore in as an independent senator, knowing in your heart and soul you is a flipping PNM. You are dishonest. That is corrupt. Don't you understand it? Let's hear what you wrote this week, Sunday, June 13th in The Guardian. Look where you're writing. Write in your Balize paper. The Guardian and Rowley Bumsy. That's where you're writing. One would wish, and she says life changes without consent. One would wish that there would be changes in perspectives, in what governance means. Governance means independent institutions are critical in a two-party state. and individuals with intelligence should not be partisan in any form or fashion. You are disqualified from that, but yet you are writing like you are some expert on governance, propriety, corporate governance, and fairness. Lady, give me a rest and stop making me have to read this. You know, when I finish with this here on douglAR Politics, I taking it back. My dog's poo-poo in the yard, I gonna use you, and you have your picture and all to pick up the poo-poo. And the necessity to harness the small nation's talent for the common good. The small nation's talent, every principle and policy of the PNM is to diminish and suppress talent. Whether it is scholarships, that they were supposed to be 500, they cut it down to 100. 400 children who spent 6 years of their life fighting, studying, working hard, parents with them right through to get a scholarship. It was grabbed from them, and now they have to go to Balize House and look to see who they could go and scribble up to and hug up rather than performance. Look at the cabinet. You have a convent girl who could not pass a pharmacological exam in charge of the Ministry of Health. You have Davlin Thomas, a playwright, right, who should be promoting party for we to go and wind down the place and look for Bumsy to wind on. That's in charge of our COVID-19 fight, throwing out specialist doctors, attacking nurses, attacking systems, lying on doctors, creating statistics. That's what you all have in charge. You are two lawyers in charge of the energy sector, and all the energy revenue gone and collapsing. And this PNM woman, Helen Drayton, is writing about identifying our talent and uplifting our talent and promoting our talent when she supports a party that has a bunch of dunce in charge of we. I can't even reach, you know. From one clown to the next, President of Brazil, who's being investigated for criminal negligence because he had 100 million doses of Pfizer vaccine available and scuttled that and didn't get it for whatever reason. That sound familiar? We had 351,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine available. Answer McCall called at the emergency board meeting, got access and decisions, took board note, got the money, asked the government to provide the US to bring the vaccines to save we life. And that just scuttled. Who scuttled it? Why they scuttle it? And y'all don't want to have a commission of inquiry into this COVID-19 thing? Because somebody go get locked up. Because all the deaths that are occurring now, somebody had to take responsibility. Who in charge? Who in charge of the systems? Who in charge of the hospitals? Who making decisions? Who in charge of bringing in vaccine? Who in charge of the money? Who in charge of the treasury? Who in charge of the ventilators? Who in charge of the ICU? Who in charge of the oxygen? Rowley, and that paper him up. That convent girl, that dunce, that clown who feel, oh, let me talk like this, and I tell you that this cup of coffee is very empty. And yet, let me pretend to you that I'm intelligent. I really was a dunce in school all my life, and I'll have to talk like I went to St. Joseph Convent, Port of Spain, to make you think that I'm very intelligent, because you can wear a mask. Wearing a mask makes absolutely no sense. And then the next 23 days, you take a mask. You see? Look at me. I'm a jersey. Give me a mask. That's who you all have in charge of us, and we are dying, and some people think it's funny. Left foot, right foot. But the president of Brazil get fined for not wearing his mask because he make the law, and the police say you make the law, you gone riding bike, playing you not wearing mask, they give you a ticket. But we have an attorney general who make the law in the day, gone in the night, look at a mirror, knowing full well he going in line with 13 men in one room, put on a tight pants, a tighter shirt, and gone with no mask to bray like a donkey and play the thing. That's my voice, man. That is your attorney general. I'm going and deal, share the life, you know. Because me have a special wonton soup for you, Mr. Recusal. I come, douglAR come for you just now. Share the life. Faris, you want to ask Kamala? In the words of the Honorable Jack Austin Warner, ask you, Opposition wants private sector input in vaccine rollout. All over the world we seeing Walmart, this one, them mall, this thing, Yankee car driving, come and get a Starbucks coffee and a vaccination. But in Trinidad and Tobago, Convent Girl and Rowley want to control all the vaccine, all the purchase. And the KFC man just signing up and buying up pharmaceutical company, now energy company, and when the energy companies own each other, he just buying up each one. Go ahead. Some people benefiting from the COVID-19. David Lee, when are we getting relief grants? Well, people are asking that from since last year, April. We now going into midway June of 2021, and people are getting a little pittance from last year. The 3 months are the $1,500. Right? I don't know what you expect them to do with that. And Rowley and them was gallery and bring, look what we gave you, and we did this for you. Y'all had no shame, you know. That all your money, you know. That is all your money. All you hear anything about Faris rental being late in any of his building, his wife building, his family building, his in-laws building. Don't forget Johnny Sukran was driving 120Y just the other day, you know. Sata Baldwin. He telling Kamala, he is not going to be sad that he is successful. You successful because you find a rich wife? That's how you just be successful? That's why you just wear makeup in the Senate? You're looking for an ex-wife? Why you go and change pampers with the girl down in the office? Anyway. Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley, I take full responsibility. Really? You take full responsibility and what? That's it? You take responsibility for what? For the Brazilian variant entering? For Trinidad and Tobago being #1 in the world for deaths per 100,000, deaths per million? For the Brazilian variant being 90% of cases since May 11th? For the 660 deaths, nearly reaching 700 deaths of citizens? Why you don't tell my friend that, whose son just dead? I couldn't play his voice note, you know, because the amount of French he used, and I couldn't even understand what he was saying. All I know is he was cussing about the system, about the lack of preparation, the lack of discipline, the lack of understanding. And that's what happens when you put a carnival man, a playwright, who should be writing Shakespeare and painting backdrop, in charge of a pandemic fight. And he thinks he's brighter than specialists, surgeons and doctors with years of experience. You know how bright them is? You know how much work they do to be smart? And then the PNM comes and put 2 duns, double duns on top of them. And y'all don't want a commission of inquiry? Criminal negligence keeps slapping me in my ball head. That term just hitting me, pap, pap, criminal negligence, pap, criminal negligence. People are dying. Play Rowley, let me hear Rowley. Oh, we not playing it? Yeah. We decide not to play he. Forget he, because I get too vexed. Vishnu say I might cuss. Rowley condemns hardware leeches and opportunists over cement hike. Rowley, you calling citizens leeches and opportunists? Bridgman's, which is a leech, which 6 months ago the bill reached 158 million of crooked money that you approved with Prime Ministerial Authority. Them is not leech. Al-Rawi, who building is 23 million rented out while he's swearing to be the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, and then take another 38 million to outfit his own building, then recuse himself 37 times from a cabinet. He's not a leech. Them is not leech. Franklin Khan, who rent a white building while he sit in cabinet, that is not a leech. Convent girl who wife in a company, and since he become minister, that company only get to build hospital, to do all kind of things, plenty contract. Them is not leech. Your attorney who you put in charge of heritage, and your best friend in charge of Paria, them is not leech. Noel Garcia, who have a commission of inquiry into him, and conclusions and recommendations against him when you was Minister of Housing in the previous PNM between 2004 and 2007, and he in charge now of building airport, hospital, health center, all the houses, community center, sports stadium, fire station. Them is not leech. Rowley. But hardware, because they increase their price of cement, they are leeches and opportunists, because the wholesale price of cement did not increase. So that's the only cost a business has. You just show that you are so stupid. You don't even understand anything about business. You're a doctor of stones and you don't even understand rocks. So you don't think that a markup or margin put on by a hardware is determined by analysis of their costs and their revenues? And if you shut them down, lock them down, and they're making less revenue because less customers coming in and buying less things across the board, while they are trying to keep their employees alive and paying them wages despite not making revenue, that they cannot sustain the same markups as in a normal economy when they are running normal business with normal customers coming through and so on. You don't understand that those equations change when you increase the costs of their production, of their hardware. They still have to pay rent, they still have to pay electricity, they still have to pay bills. If the air condition is on, it's still hot running and taking electricity, even nobody buying anything. So therefore, they have to mark up everything for the little bit of sales that they go in order to try to pay the increased costs based on the decision made by you idiot. And then you now come to attack them and call them leeches because you don't understand business. But you understand how to procure without procurement. You understand how to put one man in charge of all the money. You understand for what reason? I tell you, I see Noel Garcia coming out at Alice Glen Massey stores with one big bag. If you see the bag, you know what? I never see a bag so big. And I swear, I see your name on the bag. I see Rowley. I don't know. I just check. I wipe my shades. I see Noel Garcia, a huge bag coming out my sisters. And I swear I see your name on it. You can tell me, I don't know. We go double check. We go check and say I must bounce him up in my stores again. So if you don't understand business, stop attacking business people. Nobody is on a normal schedule right now. Citizens and business people have been taking loans to try and keep their employees surviving. Whether they're paying 60%, 50%, it's only you heartless bastard, who will cut CPEP workers, the poorest. You and Christian Mute, who would give human beings 2 pie and a Pepsi. But they have a special place for all you when all is done. Special place for all your sick people. And then you telling citizens who out there taking loans and squeezing every last dollar to help each other. The other lady in a parlor, the parlor obviously not making no set of sales. She take out rice, potato, ketchup, bread and thing and put it there. Just put it outside the parlor and tell people all you just take what you need. And you calling people like that leeches? You disgusting Oreo. I don't know, boy. Whoever vote for you, I don't know what to say about my country. So the door is closed on accountability, says Sunday Express, because Rowley say, forget Convent girl, forget all the people who dead, forget that he's an idiot, forget we have no vaccine, forget we have no ventilators, forget we have 1.66 ventilators per 100,000 when the developed country is 12.79 ventilators, forget that once you go in ICU you're dead in, forget the Brazilian variant here, forget you have Davlin Thomas who would not be removed, forget that all the doctors, nurses, medical association and all the private doctors have no information and they are against Davlin Thomas and his management style, forget all of that. Rowley say, it's not he. I have confidence in my convent girl. So what I mean? So once you accept responsibility, you always will say, oh yes, let's bow down to you, oh doctor of stones, you big duns. I bow to your stupidity. That's what we supposed to accept as a population. You lucky there's not Ecuador, Honduras, Venezuela, Mexico, or France somewhere. No? Macron? Why? They slapped the wrong man, boy. Anyway, here the Express, 14th Sunday, page 14, Sunday, 13th June. In the government's vaccine rollout program, which we submit, is why the rollout collapsed so horribly last week, with consequences yet to be seen. Now that's a key phrase, you know. Consequences yet to be seen. Yet people are making conclusions and moving on and telling Rowley, oh, it take a big man to say I wrong. It really? Talk to the father who lost his son and see if he find that apology sounds good. See that he find that apology is not hollow, because his son dead. His son, it wasn't one bad day. His son have no more days. And the rest of his days and his wife's days and his sister's days, who's the auntie and the uncle, them days sour for the rest of time. And you have a complete maniac telling you, well, it was one bad day. And all you're studying who's Indian and African in this place. Something had to be wrong with us. As head of the government, Dr. Rowley is right to accept responsibility for the fiasco, but he's wrong to use his own political currency to not disclose the full facts surrounding the mistakes that led to the country into the confusion. In claiming responsibility, what he effectively did was close the door on accountability. Well, what accountability? When he went in 2013 with a set of fake email and say Kamla and Munilal and Gary Griffith going to kill our journalists and bug the DPP office, and the emails were not even emails, the addresses were all wrong. Did you all make him pay for that? Any politician who would lie so dastardly and disgustingly and disrespectfully, dangerously on a sitting prime minister, their career should be finished. Orville London said that if that is not true, that Rowley should pay a political price of total devastation of his political career, not Trinidad, or you elevate the lying clown to prime minister. And now all you're talking about accountability. When he pursue Bridgman, when he make them sign contract with Chinese company, when he is the acting minister of housing and say he ain't know how the cabinet note reach, when he approved Bridgman, when he letting his ministers, his super ministers recuse themselves 92 times from cabinet because of conflict of interest, and the brother of his Gary Sobers company moved from zero public sector work to $3.81 billion of public sector taxpayer money work in 4 years. When we come back, Dr. Roshan Parasram. Dr. Roshan Parasram. Boss, just come off the People TV and go and cook curry or do something now, boy. You're an embarrassment to yourself. I hope you don't have children, you know. I really hope you do not have children. I will explain when we come back. I'm going to drink a little water, share the life. We coming right back, don't go nowhere.
To the issue of the situation at Petroton, you said
a little louder, please. A little louder, please.
Oh, just on the issue of your phone call to Mr. Baksh, I'm just wondering whether or not, considering that he is at the center of this investigation right now, no outcomes, yes, but he is, his company and him are being looked at in this internal audit report and this fraud allegation, whether it was appropriate for you to call him.
Of course it's appropriate. I mean, if you have a friend and you hear that, you know, something like that happened to me, you wouldn't ask him, you know, what's this about? I mean, I couldn't wait to call him to find out what all this is about. I mean, and he said he doesn't know, right? Because he's not aware of it, right? So, I mean, if I have a friend and I'm accused in that way and the friend doesn't reach out to me to find out what's going on, I will kind of look at you kind of funny.
Yes. You all hear that? That's the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So what he's saying, and he is the head of the National Security Council. He is the head of the cabinet. He is the head of Petrotrin. He appointed the board. He is in charge of the investigation into the fraud. But he tell all you that my brethren who all you accusing there, I must call him. You ever notice when he lying in a stutter? Astrubal Chavez. I don't know. I'm now seeing now he balling. Of course, it's okay. How could it be okay? So Gary Griffith have a friend. His friend kill his wife. Gary Griffith wasn't aware. Somebody social media bust that Gary Griffith friend kill his wife. And Gary Griffith go call his friend and say, hey boy, what's that boy? Why hear about that one? What's that? And the friend, of course it's all right for the commissioner of police to call someone who is accused of murder, of course. And I wanted to hear from him. And he tell me, boy, me I know what I'm talking about. And when he doing so, and he talking all the white blood on his hand and so on, he tell him, yes, I don't know what I'm talking about. Nah man, the bullet yeah, well, it's my gun, but you know them bullets jump out. That's what Rowley tell all you in all your face. And that was before August 10, 2020, you know. And all you went back and vote for him, you know. The man who in charge of the investigation into his friend say he find nothing wrong with calling his friend to tell him and ask him what that is about. Helen Drayton-Naka, I didn't hear you say anything about that governance and that conflict of interest and propriety and integrity and morality, accountability. I didn't hear nothing, Miss former independent senator, your old PNM, CMO, Roshan Parasham, Sunday Express, Sunday 13 June. Now all of you noticed that the entire country was called out as an experiment by Dr. Rowley. Without vaccines, the whole country was told, rush, first come, first serve for your vaccines. A population, adult population of 1,016,000 people, plus another 180 to 200,000 illegal immigrants, were told, go for vaccine. When the total number of vaccines they probably had was 40 or 50,000. They were approximately 1.1 million vaccines short. Yet elderly mothers, fathers were told and instructed by the Prime Minister of this country, who accepts responsibility and tell you sorry, to go there. They then double down on the stupidity by saying, well, the next day, A to E. Not knowing that A to E is about 30,000 people and they only had 6,000 vaccines to give out. Or 36 by 50, may even know how much is that? Right? They send them again and they crowded up. 3 days straight, super spreader events in a state of emergency that is designed to keep us away from people, suppress our rights, keep us locked up at home, all kind of thing. They done telling me that when the holiday, Labor Day come, we on lockdown and curfew nearly for the whole day. All of that, the principle of that was to keep people away so the virus cannot jump from one person to the next. But the very people who suppressing our rights, calling state of emergency, putting us inside, giving us tickets, throwing me down on the ground for zessing, they call us out to spread whatever it had like blue band on bread. And then this man, anybody who followed the science would know that on June 23rd, once the testing is not suppressed, once the games are not played by this government, that from June 23rd, there would be increases like we have not seen in a while. Even after 35, 40 days of state of emergency and total complete lockdown, over $5 billion lost to GDP, we will see increases because it is pure science. Yes, we can pray, and all of y'all, I beg y'all, pray. Pray to whoever you pray to, that it doesn't happen. That somehow we get lucky because God is a Trinity, Supreme Being is a Trinity. Pray. But the science says there will be a spike, and all of the sacrifices made for the state of emergency and the lockdown will be to naught. And anybody who is responsible and in charge of the situation, knowing the science, knowing the incubation period, knowing that that was a super spreader event, would put things in place to prepare for the coming spike in deaths and COVID positive infections. So therefore, the CMO and Dr. Avery Hines and Dr. PNM Abdul Richards, who on 3 PNM board, and then Lyman with the new PNM senator, she is all up in the PNM. I don't know where they find she from. They must be find she must have studied in the basement of Balize house. And I'm still asking you, Dr. Miriam Abdul Richards, where the 500 vaccine that you on the NIPTEC board, you all brought in on April 22nd. Wait, same place the Pfizer pass? Y'all doctors who come in to play a PNM agenda and play games in a COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, that. You see, we have the documents. Dr. Miriam. Put up the picture there now. Let the people see she. Right? I'm asking you, Miss PNM NIPTEC Board, PNM Eastern Regional Health Authority Board, PNM Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards Board, PNM friendly senator on Facebook like flirting with the new senator. What happened to the old senator? He had the shortest stint. PNM only just bust the man throat, so all they're saying, oh good, now take it down, take it down, take it down. Take it down, Kirk. douglAR eyes too good, boy. All they don't do me that, only pop that big. Woo! Yes. The question I'm asking for all of you doctors. You saw a super spreader event Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're about a week away from the potential ramifications of such an event. An event which your science and your thing have us on lockdown. I had to record this thing quick to go back home because me I want to get locked up. But what have you all put in place for this spike? How many more ventilators have you all purchased and flown into the country in advance or preparing for that spike that is to come? How much more oxygen have you purchased? How many more beds have you put into the parallel health sector? How much more PPE have you bought for the doctors and nurses? What have you done? Have you bought more ambulances? Put more oxygen in it? Put more preparation? What have you done? You all are just sitting there pretending the super spreader event didn't happen and trying to convince us that it didn't happen. Because here, Parashram, CMO, let's wait and see. Was vaccination chaos a super spreader event? Whether or not the gathering of crowds outside the health centers last week was a super spreader event is a wait and see situation. Really? So our lives are in the hands of a clown who's saying, let's wait and see. Oh God, oh, they're dead. All right, let me panic now. Oh good. No, let me wait and see. I just want to clap you. You must have gotten your medical degree on the back of a Frosted Flakes box. Huh? It's a wait and see. Since when science is wait and see? Human beings crowd together, infectious disease, Brazilian variant. Wait and see. Don't prepare for it. Don't get ready for it. Don't move resources towards it. Do not tell the clowns in cabinet, bring more money, bring more things, bring more medicine, bring more. Nah, don't do that. All you wait and see. Okay. Let's continue Parashram and use the Express Man of the Year. Well, Express. What that was? Mama Pool Man of the Year? Or it was really Man of the Year? Yeah? Some older woman was saying how he's so sweet. Yes. Might be good looking, but dumb. After all you're done with he, I want him to say good morning in the morning. Anyway, when you look at the pictures, he said the people outside the health centers, there were sporadic gatherings in small localities. It was not all over the country in particular. Really? Vishnu and Archie, we didn't play video from all over this country, from Grandy straight down to Point 14, Labre, Couva, Chaguanas, Dego Martin, Lavanti, Mova. It wasn't me. I make up that. This man said it wasn't all across the country. So he is trying to make excuse for science. He trying to make excuse for the infectious Brazilian variant rather than simply stick to the science, prepare, tell us what we have to do to mitigate because the storm coming. So you playing a whole PNM dance. You want to go and dance conga line with Rowley and Maduro and whine on them. That is what you do in Parashram. Parashram resign and go now. I really pray that you have no children, because God, I sorry for them children. I am very sorry. All your shouting, where is that? Where is this? This is the day, all over the place, they go Martin, Diamondale, Caranach, come down, Port of Spain, Mova, Barataria, Sangre Grande, Tunapuna, up in Mount Hope, down in Cuba, across by, in Pointe-à-Pierre. Where else we saw? Labre, Point 14, Pinal, Barakbo, all over the place. This man said, well, it wasn't now. Wasn't all across the country. Okay, brother, I am totally confident in your words that we will wait and see, and we will not prepare. Don't bother to prepare. You keep going good. You know why? Because this young man, he go wait and see too for all you. Right? A President's Medal winner. Bright mind lost. And y'all still playing games with a pandemic. Food price to increase too. If you have noticed an increase in food prices at supermarkets recently, you're not alone. Supermarket Association of Trinidad and Tobago, SATT President Rajiv Dipti, says food prices have gone up, but notes supermarket owners are not to blame. In an interview with Guardian Media yesterday, he said, issues caused by COVID-19 pandemic, including shortages, delay in manufacturing, and delays in shipping, have caused food prices to spike. But Rowley is calling people, business people, leeches. After total damage, devastation, and death, and it's not yet known about the mistake, error, incompetence of getting all our citizens out there on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday last week. The Guardian and Newsday are accepting Rowley's apology. Now, why do I show you all this? Because I'm fed up. Many of you all always go, Anil, all your government, Kamla, and all your partnership, all your real perform, boy, all your build 106 school, you build aquatic center, cycling velodrome, tennis center, 79 recreation grounds, you build highway to nearly to Debe that was heading to Point 14, you fix road, Jack Warner and Suldramachan, and then pave road, Fazal Karim build, UE, DB campus, increase gate to 800 million, increase school feeding across the board, differently able grants, increase sport funding, culture, PAN, soca, everybody get an increase. You create 55,000 jobs. All you do real good. But all you Indian thief, boy. That's what you all say. Because these PNM pieces of newspaper tell you all that. When Kamla Prasad was Prime Minister, one person to one board. No minister's family on any boards. Rowley come in and Noel Garcia spending $4 billion of your money on everything and anything under the sun. His lawyer in charge of the gas, the heritage, the oil. He next best friend of 50 years who he play golf with, Newman George, who is the Speaker of the House husband in charge of Paria. Rowley's brethren control everything. He have his small pin right there, chuck up in the K-Pax right through, and any negotiation is he and small pin. He eliminate the Minister of Works and Transport, and he went and procure ferries with small pin. And you all say that is good corporate governance? Well, amazing. But the Indian them thief. The man come and tell all of you, Kamla says she built 106 school. I want the media to ask her, where the 106 school? Tim Gopi Singh get up and say this one, that one, all 106, and they show picture of each and every one. And you all still elect that lying man, that disgusting human being, that person who does not like others. He don't even like all you who vote for him. And now, the Newsday says, apology accepted. And then you all want to know why we have this perception. These newspapers determine our mind share. They print lies and attack Kamla and our government in the face of higher performance than Rowley could ever claim. Rowley had the sea bridge collapse. Kamla never even claimed keeping the sea bridge running as an achievement. But look at what the Newsday says. when all of our citizens have come out in the biggest faux pas in the history of this country, that the effects of which we will not know for a few weeks and months coming, that could bring death and devastation to these people, the news, they just say, accepted. We accept your apology, Rowley, move on. Right? That is how you celebrate total incompetence. How could you actually type that? People are dying. Today, some 12, 14 people dead, 300 and something cases again. And we ain't reached June 23rd yet. June 23rd, June 24th, June 25th. And a man creates the most asinine decision in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And the Newsday says, apology accepted, Rowley, let's move on, let's do better. They also, just to tell you all, I'm going to read something. Asamblea Nacional electa en 2015, el plan de vacunación en Venezuela es un desastre. National Assembly elected in 2015, vaccination plan in Venezuela is a disaster. Maduro, Rowley, disaster, disaster. All you see any link, any similarity, but while that is happening, you accept Rowley apology. Rowley bring out the country, have us suppressed, economy gone, people starving, no jobs. Call out the whole country to come for vaccine, he don't even have vaccine. And you all say that's okay. Poor Rowley. Poor little baby make a bad decision. Oh gosh, little popo. Poor little popo. You go ahead, popo, you go. But heat for Kamala. Eh? Kamala telling people to riot. Kamala telling people to bring out people for coup. All you make up your mind now. India need a docile or we bad? It a real Indian gangster out there? Eh? It a real Indian in the opposition real strong? Or the Indian is a kind of docile people? Back in 1956, when the PNM started to take over from the colonials in the district elections, who was bullying Indian all up in Barataria and using the police to beat up and go inside people's house and humbug their wife and so on. So you all want to rewrite history and characteristics of an ethnic group now? Now all of a sudden, Kamala and the Indian have the power to do coup and to do bad thing and fight and what? We bad boy? And all you print that nonsense. Kamala Pasabi says he's the leader of the opposition in a Westminster system and controls nothing. Rowley puts us not only in an event Easter that are we all dead in now. Come now and double down on a super spreader. All you printing about that. All you printing about Kamala. Well, let me go to we boy, you know, because I'm going long. All you have a video there with Al-Rawi since he want to attack Kamala. So the new thing is, the new attack Kamala with Al-Rawi is, ask Kamala. Right? Look at it. Don't say I didn't say, no. Look, Newsday. Ask Kamala. Judy Raymond very excited to print Ask Kamala. When all over news they're saying that the fake oil man, he sued the government and he's set to get $1 billion in arbitration and all kind of thing. And when they ask Faris Al-Rawi, he say, ask Kamala. Page 3, Newsday. Al-Rawi said in 2011 on a political platform, the opposition leader alleged a lease operator contacted Petrotrin. The company defended the matter both in the courts and they emerged victorious last week. Al-Rawi challenged Kamala to come forward and now provide a response to the arbiter's ruling, giving her initial remarks on the issue. He said Kamla Prasad Bisesa led the charge in this matter. It's a matter that springs from the mouth of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, who led a charge against the company, and in fact against the Prime Minister, Keith Rowley. I would suggest to you, the media, that you call Kamla and you ask her for her views. Ask her of the prudence of the approach she recommended. That is, ask Kamla, because it is Kamla, and Kamla run the clip of this lying bastard, tight pants, disgusting, wicked, rental, all. Look, play the thing.
I want to remind the population, Petrotrin stands apart from the government. The board of Petrotrin commissioned an investigation into the AV oil matter. It wasn't Mrs. Prasad Bisesa that commissioned that investigation. It wasn't Mrs. Prasad Bisesa that produced a report, and it wasn't Mrs. Prasad Bisesa that was taking advice on the outcome of those positions. It was the board appointed by the present government that took that action. The board of Petrotrin, which is conducting this matter, it is that board which investigated this matter, and it is that board which will complete its investigation in this matter, and it is that board which will consider the advice of its attorneys at law and take action as is appropriate. The point to underscore here is that this government is prepared to investigate itself. And I'm not saying it, I'm demonstrating it by way of showing you the approach that was taken in the Petrotrin matter.
Well, that AG and that PNM PM and that Prime Minister friend and that PNM Petrotrin board and them PNM lawyers and that Attorney General who said it was him and said it was him, but let me ask that board and them PNM some questions, because it gets very interesting now. Because an arbitrator could only decide on evidence put before it. So if you have an audit done by the PNM which says John Brown, thing missing, we have to check, this thing here looking good. The PNM take a decision and bust the throat of the contract. And then the PNM is the friend of the PNM PM, and the PNM PM call the friend and put the PNM tight pants, tight shirt, lying fella there, right? To be in charge of the case against his PNM best friend. Well, then let me ask you some questions, PNM. Let's disclose all management records and recommendations. Read the fake oil company. Internal audits, please present the internal audits, the board papers, the minutes, the board decisions taken following those internal audits and actions taken therein. All internal and external legal advice on the fake oil matter must be presented to the population, to the media. Internal legal advice to the PNM Petrotrin board and external legal advice. All legal advice must be we must get information on whether the legal advice was forwarded and followed under the audit, following the audit. What steps were taken following this advice? Disclose who represented Petrotrin. You don't want to disclose how much money your wife get, how much brief the PNM gives she, right? But disclose who were the lawyers who represented Petrotrin. What evidence was submitted to the arbitration committee. And remember that the award of an arbitrator could only be determined by the evidence put forth. So over to you, Al-Rawi, because he said, another line up that video again, because I'm certain that my people cannot believe. This is Faris Al-Rawi, Johnny Sukaran, 120Y driving before he meet his wife. And now our building rent out all over the place. A la tight pants, a la bray like a donkey, a la dribbling man, yes. Faris, wear makeup in the Senate, Al-Rawi. Listen to this clown. He come here in the Newsday on Monday, June 14, 2021, page 3, and he says, I challenge Kamla to come forward now and provide to the arbiters ruling, given her initial remarks on the issue. You will recall Kamla Prasad Bisesa led the charge in this matter. It's a matter that springs from the mouth of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, who led a charge against the company and, in fact, the Prime Minister. I would suggest to you, the media, to call Kamla and ask her for her views and ask her of the prudence of the approach she recommended. Let's listen. This is him yesterday. Let's listen to him, December 23rd, 2017. Come in, makeup man.
I want to remind the population, Petrotrin stands apart from the government. The board of Petrotrin commissioned an investigation into the AV oil matter. It wasn't Mrs. Prasad Bisesa that commissioned that investigation. It wasn't Mrs. Prasad Bisesa that produced a report, and it wasn't Mrs. Prasad Bisesa that was taking advice on the outcome of those positions. It was the board appointed by the present government that took that action. The board of Petrotrin, which is conducting this matter, it is that board which investigated this matter, and it is that board which will complete its investigation in this matter, and it is that board which will consider the advice of its attorneys at law and take action as is appropriate. The point to underscore here is that this government is prepared to investigate itself. And I'm not saying it, I'm demonstrating it by way of showing you the approach that was taken in the Petrotrin matter.
Faris Alwari now loses another case on behalf of the state, and what does he say? Ask Kamla. Can you imagine? He's a senior legal advisor, the legal advisor to the government, and he says when he loses this case, the fake oil case, he says, ask Kamla. Well, I want to ask you these questions, Rowley. Mr. Rowley and Mr. AG. Make it very clear that it is the government and the AG who has lost another case. Don't call my name in that at all. That case was between AV and Petrotrin. Petrotrin headed by PNM board appointees. Go ask Michael Kwamina. He's a personal lawyer for Keith Christopher Rowley. Mr. Rowley put his personal lawyer to shut down Petrotrin and send over 10,000 people lost their jobs. Was that a cover-up? I don't know. 100 million fake oil, and don't forget 100 million with the Montal issue. And he gave another personal friend of his, a lawyer again, a bunkering license. Another word from the fake validators. I would ask you, Faris, why don't you call your friend Espinay? Tell Mr. Rowley call his friend Espinay, who was the chairman of Petrotrin when the contract with AV was terminated. I want to ask you now, AG, did you do all in your power as head of the bar and as legal advisor to the government to ensure proper litigation? Did you ensure a proper case and that all evidence was supplied? Did you provide the independent audit by Kroll Consulting Canada and the Gaffney Klein report? People are asking if you threw the case away to give Keith Rowley's bestie some money in damages. Someone said it's $1 billion. It's not. So look forward to that. We keep tuned into this story. And I say, ask Faris, not Kamla. Kamla had no part of this case.
So over to you, members of the media, Express, Guardian, Judy Raymond and the Newsday. Ask Faris what happened to the case. Ask Faris who were the attorneys appointed. Ask Faris what evidence was presented to the arbitrator. Ask Faris who did the audit. Ask Faris where's Oliveri, the former minister. Ask Faris why the previous PNM Petrotrin board was gone. Ask Faris who said to shut down Petrotrin. Ask Faris and tell him that Espinay went under oath and said, no, we never told the government to turn down, to close down Petrotrin. Ask Faris what were the legal issues presented from internal lawyers to external lawyers. Ask Faris if the criminal probe is still going on. Ask Faris what was the decision done and what were the logbooks presented. Ask Faris, was Deoki Singh brought back from where he is, the former candidate who went up for the PNM against Kamla Prasad Bisesa? Was he cross-examined? Did he put in a witness statement? Where is Deoki Singh? Deoki Singh, that PNM bastion of political ineptitude? Ask Faris. And why they ask him Faris? Ask Faris how much foundation does he put on. Yes, Faris. How much? Do you get a professional to do it? Or have you become so skilled at putting on your own makeup, Faris? Huh? Well, since we're asking Faris questions, I have a few more questions for you, Faris. Because I'm seeing that your children, either you have no control of your children, or your children could just do what they want. Because I have 2 big children and a little small one too. And if I is a minister, and we have the whole country on lockdown, and I in the cabinet discussing and saying, well, citizens can't come home, and my big son who's studying law come to me and say, Daddy, I want to go to Barbados, my friends are having a lime, and I say, Bar what? You go to bed and put on DJ Barbados if you want. Your father in a cabinet, I have all these citizens locked outside. You taking your little hairy self to go where? Look, go in your bed before you, look, right? It's simple. You goes nowhere. Your father is a minister deciding and suppressing the rights of other citizens. But like Faris, you can't control your children. Huh? One went and come back in 2 months. Me, I know of no semester in the world that is a 2-month semester. And now we are seeing, Faris, that your daughter went out somewhere, or you are saying that she was out in Spain at university and came back in on June 5th. So I'm going to ask you some questions, Faris. Faris, recently you had, in April 26th, 27th, around there, leading to a 14-day quarantine. You had a contact with a COVID-19 positive person, and therefore you had to go into self-isolation. True, Faris? You made many media statements and said you will work from home and so on. The work of the government continues. Isn't that right, Faris? Well, let me ask you some questions, Faris. What was your daughter studying in Spain? How long was the semester in Spain? When did you have your COVID-19 positive contact? Around April 26? When exactly was that contact? Was the COVID-19 positive contact that you had, Faris, was it your daughter? And Faris, if it was your daughter, how could you have contact with your daughter if your daughter was studying in Spain? douglAR is confused. Very confused, Faris. Very confused. So please explain, and members of the media, in the words of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, ask Faris if his COVID-19, and Faris talk loud and talk hard, because you're getting catch lying plenty. So ask Faris if his COVID-19 positive contact that led him to go into isolation in late April was his beloved daughter. And if it was his beloved daughter, where and how did that contact take place? If, as he's saying now, she was in España. Because she was not in Puerto de España. She was in Francoman, Spain. So Faris say. So how he got contact, how the COVID, I don't understand, Faris? And isn't it amazing, my people who dip finger for them? Your family car come back, you car go and come back, you are locked down, you paying ticket, you getting charged, you in state of emergency, you have no work, he rental money still collecting, your family getting rental money, his wife getting brief, he not disclosing how much he getting it, he blaming Kamla. No, but in 2017 said that had nothing to do with Kamla whatsoever. And now his parents and he making laws for y'all, and now his children could go back and forth free. So I just have those questions for you, Faris. Let's go from one clown to another. Pomsite Rasta, Etelbert, were you campaigning? What were you doing? You were up in your constituency with all them police. You need so much police and security to go up in your constituency. There you are well loved. You are beloved MP. Them love you. But Ethelbert, I know you are a complete dunce, you know. But I didn't know you were stupid too. Run the video. Only listen carefully.
If it means fighting with them in the house, if it means calling the police when you discover the gun under the mattress or in the wardrobe, call the police. You don't have to give it away, but tell the police to find it in the road. I'm sorry I say that.
The Minister of National Security is telling citizens that if you find gun in your house and it's your family own, take the gun out of the house, throw it out in the road, where children playing football, people passing and so on, throw it out there. Call the police and tell them the gun there, but don't tell them who gun it is. That's your Minister of National Security. Play it again.
If it means fighting with them in the house, if it means calling the police when you discover the gun under the mattress or in the wardrobe, call the police. You don't have to give it away, but tell the police to find it in the road. I'm sorry I say that.
You have a Minister of National Security of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago advertising and instructing citizens in his constituency to break the law. To break the law, to withhold evidence from the police, to not report to the police, to throw guns outside and call the police and tell them, look, the gun, but don't tell them who own it is. Therefore, giving the young person or whoever was the gun owner the opportunity to go and get a next gun and kill somebody. That's your Minister of Play it again.
If it means fighting with them in the house, if it means calling the police when you discover the gun under the mattress or in the wardrobe, call the police. You don't have to give it away, but tell the police to find it in the road. I'm sorry I say that.
Hey, Rowley, over to you. Say something, see something, say something. Huh? Oh, he will say sorry. Sorry for that. The most irresponsible advice to ever been uttered from a Minister of National Security. And that just passed, you know. TV6, CNC3, TTT, Express, Newsday, Guardian, mass media. That's a Minister of National Security. You could have imagined if Brigadier Sandy said that. You could have imagined if Austin Jack Warner said that. He is telling people to break the law and give killers the opportunity to go and get a next gun to kill somebody's family, and that's your Minister of National Security under the People's National Movement. moving from one clump to the next. It's full of them, you know. I would like to ask you all, what is the price of a lie? Why you must lie for somebody? I remember I sat down next to Mary King in the cabinet, and when the information bust out that they had some tender, and she was there with the advisor where the tender box was being opened, and her son had tender, and so on, and Kamala fired her from the... I watched her, I said, but what is wrong with you? Weren't you the lady who was writing about corporate governance, integrity, and so on? So you all mean I was supposed to come out and say, well, Mary King, what she was doing was really assisting her son in clearing the box. And what? Wrong is wrong. But like in this PNM, anything wrong, everybody start to lie. Whether there is official PNM, wannabe PNM, secret PNM, or Balize supporters in the night subconsciously. Amory Brown, come in. Listen to Amory Brown. This is the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. On the Prime Minister not referring to this gift at Saturday's news conference, Dr. Amory Brown said the Prime Minister may not have been aware of the exact time of the arrival of this gift, so he was focused on the global picture. What it is that makes a big man have to come out and talk such drivel and lie because of somebody else's stupidity, wickedness, incompetence? Rowley didn't know. Every single gift has been advertised well in advance. It's boasted about. The plane is coming. Convent girl just go there to take picture and talk in his little convent girl accent. And now all of a sudden, silence, nothing happened. The customs agents bust letter and fling it out to people on social media, and we realize Pfizer reached, and this big man going to put him out in something that he know nothing about. He had nothing to do with it, but he had to lie to try and save somebody. Why? Next one. Let's go to Roshan Parasram. Parasram, I'm sorry for you, boy. If eunuch had a face, it will be you. Because like the PNM snip you below the waist. So come, which one you going with? Play the Roshan, man. Whichever one come up, I go deal with him. Roshan.
What is the procedure? What are the criteria that is used in the selection of certain vaccines for certain groups? Thank you very much.
Okay, let me see if I could answer the questions in one go. So, the Ministry of National Security would have been in contact with their counterpart agency in the US and therefore received a donation, and I think Minister Hines referred to it as a gift, of the 400 vaccines of Pfizer. So there was communique between the Ministry of National Security and their counterpart in the US. That donation was forthcoming to them. We were alerted as the Ministry of Health with responsibility for two things: the importation of vaccines as well as the regulation of vaccines. So customs would have alerted us when it was actually in the airport. Our principal pharmacist would have actually gone in physically and took control of the vaccines. We now have it in a bonded facility, which means that it's bonded pending use. Alright, so the Ministry of Health has taken control of it. And what we are waiting for is some documentation that the Ministry of National Security has to provide to us via the US, that their counterpart agency, so that we could do two things. One, we expect to get some information as it relates to invoicing, which is part and parcel of the importation requirements, and two, the regulatory documents in terms of a clinical dossier, which will allow us to see where the Pfizer product was manufactured and all of that. It will be considered by the Drug Advisory Committee, and then we can say whether it is a vaccine that can be utilized in Trinidad and Tobago. Once those documents come to us, we review it, and we see that it's satisfactory, then the vaccines will be handed over to National Security for their use. So that's generally the process.
Thank you.
The CMO is not being truthful. The Ministry of Health was not aware of the vaccine Otherwise, an import permit would have been granted for importation. The principal pharmacist was also not aware of the shipment. It is only upon seizure of the vaccine calls were made to the Comptroller of Customs, who then instructed that only the principal pharmacist can clear the vaccine. The principal pharmacist, when made aware of the seizure, and because of her unavailability, emailed to the Comptroller of Customs asking that the Defense Force be allowed to retrieve the vaccine for her possession.
Roshan Parasram, shame on you. That's not your job. That's not your work. That's not what you're there for. Go back and look at yourself. Put your kids, if you have children, to sit down, put them and let them watch daddy sitting down and lying for somebody else, while daddy is supposed to be in charge of my health, my children's health, my father who will be 80, his health, all our citizens' health. Look at what daddy is doing. Put your children to sit down and watch you. I really dare you. Call me now and tell me how it went. Shame on you. How you reach there? You ever sit down and ask yourself, how I reached there? That have nothing to do with you. You knew nothing about no Pfizer coming in on to whom it may concern. You knew nothing about that. You knew absolutely nothing when it ran. You come there now to talk about national security when national security come and they don't even know what was going on. I had to put out 2 different press releases within 35 minutes and both of them make no sense. But the US counterparts, you have the United States of America saying, oh yes, that's a gift of 200 vaccine for 200 people. Let me also tell you, and let's be very careful. I'll go deal with USA just now. When imported goods arrive in this country, let us be very careful. We are not, it's not a palace, it's not a banana republic. We have laws, we have systems, we have customs, we have control of customs, we have issues, we have bills of lading, we have documentation for goods coming in, whether it's lollipop or vaccine. Right? So when imported goods arrive, you have to fill out a declaration form first of all, a C-82 form. The C-82 form must have a consignee. It must have a description and value of the goods for tax purposes and so on. You must have a form. There was no form. There is no form. Roshan Parasram is talking. Furthermore, we were instructed and told by these press conferences that the protocol for vaccines coming in is the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Health only. So no Ansa Makal, no supermarket association, no one. And that same Roshan Parasram said that if anybody brought in vaccine, it's illegal. Well, they came in, they land. Once they land, it reached, and you knew nothing about it because you are still waiting for documentation. Furthermore, if goods landed to whom it may concern and no documentation, that is a false declaration and somebody ought to get charged. Just because you say it's from the Ministry of National Security, it don't mean they're above the law. Somebody ought to get charged for false declaration. Furthermore, the customs, and we hit the voice, customs seize the goods. You come to say it's bonded. The customs seize goods. Once they seize the goods, in order for you to get it back, you have to go to and make a case of forfeiture at the magistrate's court. Now, they could have called the chief pharmacist or whoever her name is, the head one, and she was unavailable. Now, the comptroller of accounts, the comptroller of customs, can allow goods in and so on and so forth. The comptroller has a very wide authority, very powerful. However, the comptroller of customs, on allowing goods in without the requisite forms, without the paperwork, has to explain after on what basis she let the goods pass. It's not just she let it pass, I is the boss, and it pass. Not like Rowley. She have to explain. So, we have many questions for the Comptroller of Customs, the Chief Pharmaceutical Officer, for Dr. Roshan Parasham, for Ethelbert, who advising people to break the law, for every single human being in the Ministry of Health, where those Pfizer pass, how the Pfizer pass, how much Pfizer pass, is this the first time this happened? How many of these naked shadow flights landing in customs? Who authorized the army to go and pick it up? Who gave the instruction? Who was in charge of the army that day? How many army vehicles went up? What was the packaging? Who was to carry it to? Who was the consignee? Many questions. And we wait for the answers. And let me just say to the US Embassy, it seems that y'all are playing PNM politics. Because you came out earlier 2 months ago, you gave out a warning to tell people, don't come to Trinidad and Tobago. Your warning is apolitical, it's based on intelligence and warnings to your citizens to keep them safe. You decide, somebody at the embassy decided to make a political statement to talk about the UNC and what the UNC says, and you don't want the UNC to play politics with the advisory that you all had and so on. And look at this letter. US, is this how you all give a gift? So your president says 60 million doses they're going to give to Latin America and the Caribbean. Kamala Harris talked to Rowley on the phone. Rowley boss, he loved talking to Kamala. We probably shame. He probably talked to Kamala like he talked to Fane Richards when he was doing the interview. And is this how you give us a gift, US Embassy? To whom it may concern? I mean, to whom the hell it may concern? It concerns the Ministry of Health, the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, to whom it may concern. Who the hell are you feel all you addressing down here? We are a sovereign republic. Secondly, USA, we love you. 400 doses. We bring that for. You bring that for a fat down in Pier 1 now. 400 doses. Even China laughing at all you. Put up China. China not laughing at all you Yankee. China, who give away, they give away 100,000, 200,000 Sinopharm reaching tomorrow or today, whenever it is, 300,000, right? And there was no date on the US document, but look at the no date. Where the date? I didn't know the US just put out letter without date and thing. US, what going on? Best we bring back Trump. That what all you doing? Yeah, this Trump wouldn't do that. But anyway, here it is. Chen Wenhua, the EU Bureau Chief and columnist for China Daily, tweeted in response to the US Embassy, that is more like an amount of donating a nursing home, not a whole country. I must say, China. Oh God! What you want me to do? Eyes normally red, white, and blue. I just like my Yankee and them. But all you really disrespect my whole country by calling 400 doses a gift. China and all laugh at all you. So USA, the douglAR going to ask this. You have to save face. All you can't have. Forgive my asthma acting up there. I shouldn't laugh. Sorry. Oh Lord, I need my symbicot. Yes. USA, we have to save face. You see I wearing the blue. Red, white, and blue. Oh Lord, I'm going home to watch NBA basketball. My side get knocked out, but I still like how Kawhi dunking on top of one. Oh God. USA, here what we going to do? You're going and save face. All you play PNM politics and you embarrass your entire country superpower. You can't have China gain with 300,000 doses. And all you give me 400. Here what we going to do? Come in close, USA. All you send me 2 million doses of Pfizer. Send it quick. Send it with all kind of freezer, everything necessary. Give me 2 million doses. Let me vaccinate the whole country before July 4th. And then we go celebrate with fireworks on Independence Day of the United States of America. Send 2 million doses of Pfizer. I want 2. I taken 2. Please. Yankee, send it for winner. Where else we are there? Aha. Let me tell you something. I just went a little light with the USA, but the USA seriously, send the vaccine, send the Pfizer. Because Roshan Parashram also, a few weeks ago, he and Avery Hines tell us, we had to take what we get. I asked you all if we in Cuba or Russia back in the day or something, or if we in Venezuela, some dictatorship. I thought we was in a democracy. Remember I asked you all that? I said these fellas telling us that we have no choice. Whatever available, we have to take that vaccine. But they were asked now, is the Sinopharm, could we go to the UK with Sinopharm? You know, Roshan Parashram sit down there and say, well, that is up to you. You, the person, the citizen, have to do your due diligence on where you would like to travel to. And he is not going to say or state what countries have approved what vaccines. He is just WHO approved and he given a vaccine. It is incumbent upon the citizen to determine where they want to travel to, find out what is approved, and then do what? I thought you tell me we have no choice. All you have that clip there? I don't know if all you have it in the Senate. Roshan Parashram, you're starring today with your stupidity. We don't have that. But imagine that. So the UK not approve Sinopharm, but they tell you take Sinopharm. And then he say, so if I take 2 shots of Sinopharm, 6 weeks apart, 8 weeks apart, and then I want to go to the UK to watch cricket at Lord's, I have to go and take our next vaccine? I have to go and put Pfizer on top, or Moderna on top, or Johnson on top, or AstraZeneca on top, or my Sinopharm? That's what all you're telling me? After you all tell me we have to take what the hell we get and that's it, no choice? Brilliant. Amazing. And this is the problem. Doctors, you all are supposed to build trust. We are supposed to trust you. In order to fight COVID-19, the people must believe. That's what the other countries did. South Korea, New Zealand, they built trust with facts, with information, with being honest, with talking, involving the population. They got buy-in and they were successful in the COVID-19 fight. Without trust, there will be no victory in the pandemic. We will lose. And we have a bag of doctors who on PNM board, who not on PNM board, who lying for PNM, who concocting for PNM, who looking down and talking for PNM, who playing games with PNM. I tried to tell you all this long time, you know. I think quite May 11th, somebody, Vishnu run it on, they go say, I'm a lie, you know. I tried to warn you all. But this is where we have reached because of the lack of trust, the lies, the dishonesty. And now people are afraid and do not trust the government nor those doctors. Run it. The whole idea of the fight against COVID-19, the best in the world, the best countries, South Korea, New Zealand, Australia, they speak about trust. When scientists analyze the response, the efficacy of the response, the buy-in of the response by the population, they say that trust in the government is the #1 factor. And how did the governments of these countries who handle COVID-19 so amazingly, how did they build that trust? They build that trust on the backbone of pure science, driven by data, driven by dissemination of information, driven by a media that was not biased and impartial, scientific, analytical, non-emotional media that disseminated information, a communication strategy headed by the government of education, knowledge, and putting it everywhere, creating a feeling of patriotism, togetherness, and that we were all fighting this pandemic. Trust was built, and those who build trust won the battle. But where's the trust? We have a prime minister buffing and cussing the population at every chance he gets. We have a minister of health who has become the butt of every joke, and the media is trying to defend him and cry for him and beg us not to make fun of him. Even though every time you go back to any statement he made since the beginning, there's been no trust. Whether it was PCR testing and CARFA, whether it was private labs, whether it was masks, whether it was data, whether it was a curve or flattening the curve, whether it was contact tracing, whether it was testing, whether it was test kits from China that didn't work, whether it was the exemption policy and people being locked out, on any aspect of COVID-19, there were holes in the story of Convent Girl. There were holes in the story of the government. Whether he said also that the Brazilian variant more recently, he tried to lie and say, well, they didn't know where it came from or how it came from. And then in the Senate, he was forced to admit in the Senate that it came from a Venezuelan illegal immigrant. When he tried to dodge questions and hand it off to the Minister of Finance, who handed it back to him as if it's a rugby game past the baton. This is not how you build trust. This is not how you win the population over. This is not how you buy over people's emotions to fight together. Trust. Where's the trust? We've seen information on data. Who can remember back in 2020 when the test just went up from 32,000 to some 70,000, an increase of some 39,000 in one day? Just like that, miraculously, scientific data just increased by 100%. Where in the world can that happen? How can anybody have confidence in the figures? Every statement made, even by the doctors, is politically motivated, and it seems that they're under pressure to say or to speak a PNM political narrative. That was May 11th, and now we have Roshan Parasram talking one bag of nonsense about 400 doses of Pfizer that he knew nothing about, that in a bond and he waiting for forms, that he talking about Sinopharm, and if you could go to the UK, and he not interested in that, he just have to give us WHO. That's what we were talking about all the time. There is no vaccination program. The PNM is absolutely incompetent, and they're being bolstered by these doctors who now have no trust. Look at the population. 72% of the people don't trust the information. Roshan Parasram, Avery Hines. This is because you play games with science. But when Rowley get and what Rowley didn't get, and with the 2-day incubation period, and then the Easter, and then the candlelight vigil, and why the vaccine, and where the vaccine, and what vaccine. When we were telling you all the time, you have to get a cocktail of vaccines and give people choice. Because we are a traveling people. We are people go away to do business, for competitions, for universities. You're forcing people to take a vaccine, and now you're telling them, oh, you had a vaccine, you can't go United Kingdom. And United Kingdom is our drop-off point into Europe and across the globe. United Kingdom is a gateway destination. And now you're saying that. When we are telling you, well, why? I was asking you, but why we can't get Pfizer? Why we can't get the best? If we research it, I believe my people deserve the best. I believe Trinbagonians are the best in the world. Why are you coming to give me 4th place or 5th place? Why do we not have number 1? If number 1 is Pfizer, then Moderna, then AstraZeneca, then Johnson & Johnson, then Sinopharm. Why all you giving me 5th place? You all don't remember that? You feel a lie? Okay, go back. Because you all have to understand, elections have consequences. And stop trying to lump UNC intelligence with PNM incompetence. It is not the same. It's chalk and cheese. And stop believing the media who lying to you all and breaking your trust. Run it, Archie. Let's see some of the countries that I would like to follow. Because I believe my Trinidad and Tobago is A class, top class. There's no country better than Trinidad and Tobago. That's my belief. If all you want to cost me, well, cost me. If you want me to be like Convent Girl and them and accept anything and do anything, all right, that's your choice. But not me. Australia have utilized Pfizer and AstraZeneca. Canada, Pfizer and AstraZeneca. France, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Moderna. Israel, Pfizer. New Zealand, Pfizer. And New Zealand is very close to China, by the way. Very close. So if you know, they could get the Sinopharm very easily. Singapore, we want to be like Singapore. We not, because Singapore don't have PNM. But Singapore, Pfizer and Moderna. South Korea, who handled it, COVID-19, that's all we should have done. All Convent Girl had to do was look at South Korea, study, research, and do that here. And we'd be good. South Korea, Pfizer and AstraZeneca. United Kingdom, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Moderna. The US, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Based on that, and my belief that my Trinidad and Tobago is as good and equal as US, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, Australia, Germany, and those countries, I want that. That 351,000 doses was left to go by the wayside. Those 351,000 doses were there for us. The gold medal, along with the developed world. I want that. Why I can't get that? Because my government is incompetent. Thought we were number one. So because of their incompetence, don't fire them. Give my people and cost my people and give we something that bronze medal, 4th place. Don't give we gold and silver. Give we 4th. And that's where we at. So to the USA, the douglAR begging all here. China, Iran, Russia, Venezuela, laughing. North Korea, laughing at all here. All you playing games with Ethelbert, 400 dose. Send 2 million doses of Pfizer for my people in Trinidad and Tobago. Let we vaccinate to operate. Agon, bless.
Lesson to all. Welcome to Facts, Not Fiction. Join me Thursday the 17th at 6 p.m. sharp for another Facebook Live as we discuss facts, not fiction. Get ready. Stay tuned. 6 p.m. sharp. I'm out.